what we're trying to do is make sure that the things that occur in this case are done correctly. And if you want to talk about how long things are going to take, get some stuff wrong, and then see how long it all takes. We're asking that the court would give us permission to go and see if the Idaho Supreme Court would be willing to weigh in on this particular subject. Whether or not the case makes its way to trial at some point is, in our mind, just part of what the court has to look at, particularly in a case where the state's decided that it wants to try to kill someone. Thank you.
We learned today that prosecutors will seek the death penalty against Bryan Kohberger, the suspect in the murder.
You got mad because he said that, but that's exactly what you're trying to do.
And to start, Mr. Lodson said something that I think needs to be addressed. He makes the allegation the state is trying to kill someone here, and frankly, I find that offensive.
I'm sure you do. Particularly where the states decided that they want to kill someone. Hold on, Teddy Bear. You just breezed past the IGG evidence holdup that is totally oh man, innocent until what's going on, man? I'm watching this hearing, guys. And you know, I'm in a different place in life right now, so I'm doing different things, but you may get this video in parts, but I'm blown away. I'm blown away by the attorneys. So they walk in, right? And Judge does his spiel about whatever he's doing his spiel about. He's telling people, hey, we got a YouTube channel, like, share. He didn't say like, share, subscribe, but with what he said, he may as well have. I'm pretty sure most of you watched this hearing already, so you know what I'm talking about everything I'm about to say. So yeah, he may well have said that, but he said, hey, we got a YouTube, we're streaming. You can go to the Idaho Supreme Court website and get the link if you need to. Then he said to the audience, if you don't want to be on cam, maybe you need to leave. I guess he thought it was dry humor or whatever. It wasn't to me. But then he just did his spiel. And then he opens, the court up to the attorneys. And this is the part that has me considering how I'm going to give you guys this video, because I think I said either on Twitter or in my last video that I was thinking about live streaming this hearing with you guys. But I also said, man, I'm just talking. We all know I'm probably not going to do that. But now that I'm into it, I don't want to make a big, long video like I did last time. I want to give, guys some short videos. So anyway, let me get to it, damn it. So the video isn't too long. Whew. I got some notes, and we're going to get to the notes, man. I'm going to try to remember my notes off the top of my head, though. Ann and her team, man, number one, they are setting this thing up for appeal. I seen some comments. I can't remember if it was on YouTube or Twitter or wherever, but people were like, hey, she dropped the ball in this hearing. I don't know. I have to continue watching to see, because right now I just see them being as sharp as ever. She's covering every base, it seems. Obviously, once again, I'm no legal expert or professional at all. But I mean, she's covering bases here, man. And listening to these attorneys, especially the defense counsel, the guy, what I'm getting is they're making sure, because this isn't the first time that I've seen them do this, they're making sure Judge knows, and they're doing it in coy and respectful ways. Hey, man, we're going to throw you under the bus, you know what I mean? And we're going, whoever Bryan's lawyers toss this to, or whoever's toss this as Bryan's future attorneys, if Bryan is convicted of this crime, we're letting you know, we're saying all of this to try to prevent all of that. For me, it goes back to what I told you guys last time. I think it was about the Chad Daybell case, where they say his attorney doesn't even want to be on the case, and yet they're making him stay on the case, and he's severely undermanned. Like it's only him, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he got his homegirl and his girlfriend or somebody, I don't know, running to get something to eat, but he's severely understaffed handling a death penalty case. And that's kind of the same thing I see going on here in a sense. It's like the defense is letting the judge know we're doing everything we can to give you an out. It's kind of like they're holding them at gunpoint. Like, you got to make a decision right here, because what I see Judge doing is, and this is my opinion, guys, I could be wrong. I've watched every hearing, but I have only watched the first 15 minutes of this hour-long hearing. He's trying to pass the buck, like the judge in the Chad Daybell case. They don't want to be associated with Bryan Kohberger potentially walking in this case. So instead of giving, ultimatums, what ultimatums seemingly and ultimately definitely probably should be, like with the IGG evidence, he's skirting. Remember, it was supposed to be December the 1st, damn it, y'all. If anybody noticed, we're almost in February of 2024. If you go back and watch my video, I told you, he was telling you in that December the 1st hearing where he set that deadline, that he ain't set no damn deadline. I'm not getting back into that. So I'm all over the place. Let me reel it in a little bit. Judge is just trying to pass the buck to the next court because Bryan can't walk on his watch. And that may even be what's going on with the prosecution team, even though I just think when you talk about the law enforcement agencies there and the feds too, I think, man, it's a whole conspiracy thing, man. And I've never been a conspiracy theorist in my life, I promise you. But I think that's what's going on in Moscow. Now, whether Judge is in on it, it maybe, damn it, he probably is. So you got that angle. You in on the conspiracy. If I sound crazy, I'm sorry. I am crazy in multiple ways. But he's in on the conspiracy theory. And then also, he cannot, because even though you have this well put together plan to make sure Bryan is convicted, your plan seemingly falling apart, man. Even in my comment section where I ain't, the audience is a little down because I ain't making videos, man. I get it. The numbers will go back up. We cool with that. We take what God gives. But I seen it where people were like, somebody gave us, an example, they shared a story where they were speaking with someone, and I think it was a law enforcement officer who was absolutely sure Bryan was innocent. But now he's starting to think that Bryan may not be guilty. I mean, the guy was absolutely sure Bryan was guilty, and now he's starting to think Bryan may not be guilty because of the way that the law enforcement and the judges and the courts and, maybe the prosecution office, somebody on that side is handling it. So it didn't even have anything to do with the defense that Ann is putting up. Let me show y'all this comment. This former law enforcement or even current law enforcement officer right now, he may be a lawyer or I think it was law enforcement though, who was at one point sure Bryan was guilty. Now he's questioning it based solely on how Bryan's accusers are behaving. So now when we get back to Ann, and I'm seeing a lot of that. So I'm saying that to say, even if they have what they think is a sure plan to get Bryan set up and convicted, it clearly can fall apart. And we're seeing more and more people who started off saying, nah, he's absolutely guilty. Now they're not sure, or they're convinced he's innocent. So now when we get back to Ann, even though she's not speaking yet, I told you guys I watched up until the 15-minute mark. The defense spoke, the state spoke, and then the defense got to rebuttal. And now I think the judge is finna speak because he said something, then I turned it off because I wanted to get these thoughts out. They just seem to be covering bases, guys. And I think what Ann is saying is, I'm hoping, when I watched it, I said, damn, that's why I notice of appeal. They're letting you know, man, which I don't know if this is usual. I don't think I've ever seen it. I've watched hearings and trials before. I don't think I've ever watched any prelims. And this is prelim. Prelim in the sense that it's before the actual trial, guys. That's what I mean. I don't know if it's usually as serious because Ann still seems as sharp as a razor blade to me out here. It's like, remember I said, it's like they have the judge at gunpoint. And it's like, yo, you're going to do the right thing here, or the world is going to see you dropping the ball. And that is going to be part of this man's appeal if he gets convicted. And I love it. Because the argument that Ann and her team are setting forth, and I may just have to go into a little more detail later. I wanted to make this video, the audio for it on the fly. I have to refer back to my notes. But the argument that they're putting forth, and I did a video about this, it's kind of a weak argument, but what they have going for them, and this goes back to my holding the judge at gunpoint analogy, is they still have a legal argument. They're arguing probable cause versus reasonable doubt, and as it pertains to how the grand jury was instructed. Now, there's case law that says it could be either or. And by case law, they talked about this in the other hearing. Certain judges in Idaho have ruled one way. Certain judges in Idaho have ruled another way. Y'all correct me where I'm wrong. I did a video on this, so I remember it. I had to research it because I didn't know what the hell they was talking about. So even though it's a legal precedent that it goes the way that, you know, Ann and her defense team is saying it should go, there's also a legal precedent that it goes the other way too. So they have an argument that what they're saying, it should be one thing, not the other. They have that argument because some courts have ruled the way that they wanted to be ruled. And now they're saying, hey, since there's not any clear-cut law on the book, like this is a standard, this is the way it has to go, can we please go up to the higher court and ask them? But this judge has to grant it. Now, flip to the state's argument. His argument, it was the legal part of it sounded like some shucking and jiving. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not even going to mention that. But what he appealed to was the emotions of the public when he inserted the family members. It is Idaho's, their constitutional right as in Idaho to have a trial in a reasonable amount of time. Well, sir, who gets to determine which? Oh my God, he killed this in his rebuttal. But this is what the state is saying. The victims, which also includes the loved ones, have a constitutional right to a trial in a reasonable amount of time in Idaho. And then he mentions the IGG evidence. He's like, oh, we're having a problem with that, you know, but then he breathed. Why? If I'm this Bill or whoever's running that, why the hell did you even bring that up, bro? Because you just made yourself look stupid. You mentioned that all of this time later, after the judge set a December the 1st date, and we're damn near going into the second month of 2024. For those who are great at math, that's 2 months after the December the 1st date. You're still in court politely telling us, like, we don't know, Negro, that y'all ain't gave that woman the IGG evidence?
So it's things like, you can change the sentence. You can sentence the defendant. You can change bail, things like that. But for discovery, we've had the genetic genealogy issue that's still out there. We're working and making progress on, but pause button on that. Pause button on discovery. Pause button on change of venue.
And then you say all that stupid stuff, and then he appeals to the judge's ego. He says, Judge, they're trying to strip, because if you make this decision, they're trying to strip you of your power, because the law says that if you agree to let them have what they're asking for, this court no longer has power. And then he says this, guys, I'm not making it up. By now, y'all have seen it here, and you know what I'm talking about. And then he says, well, you know, there are some exceptions to the rule, but it's not really like, so you just told the judge that legally his court will be stripped of all power in the Bryan Kohberger trial until the appeal is over with. They're appealing the decision that the judge made. But then you turn around and say, well, there are exceptions to the rule, and then you on some BS, cuz. You're on some BS. And then he's trying to make it look like Ann and her team are just trying to stall trial. And what Ann and her team saying, listen, man, it's very, very reasonable, man. And the guy said it. I don't know if he said it was part of a plan, if he's seen an opening, or if he just got frustrated. But the defense counsel said it, man. He said, bruh, they over there trying to make it look like we just trying to put trial off and put trial out. We know trial coming. Trial is coming. Even if y'all convict this man, this case will proceed. He literally said this case will go on for 28 years after this. And I'm guessing he's talking about appeals and stuff. He said, so we not running from trial or worried about trial, but damn it, we want to go to trial prepared. And the state should respect that, since, in his words, they trying to kill somebody. He said it. He said they trying to kill a man or kill somebody. He said it in court. I had to cut the camera off, guys. That's why you just got this little rant right here. I had to cut the camera off when he said that. Why the hell are y'all rushing to kill a man, and you know you haven't given his defense team damn near everything they need? Why I said damn near, guys? I wanted to say they ain't gave them anywhere damn near anything they need. But I'm guessing they've given them a lot. But we still talking about some of the same things, which brings me to my next point. The conspiracy theory. I know it sounds crazy, but is there something wrong with this indictment? Like I said, if it's a conspiracy theory, I think all of y'all in on it, including the judge. Is there something wrong with this indictment, and y'all know when the right eyes are privy to it, it's gonna be like turning on a faucet. It's not gonna be like looking for a needle in a haystack. It's gonna be like turning on a faucet. The flood immediately comes. Are y'all worried about that with the indictment? What about the IGG evidence? Are y'all worried about, you know, as soon as the right eyes are privy to it, it no longer becomes a needle in a haystack, you know, what they're looking for to blow the case wide open. It's turning the faucet on, the flood immediately comes. That's what I think it is. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying I'm speaking to whether Bryan is guilty or innocent here. They could very well know Bryan ass is 100% guilty. They could know that, but then they went about getting the evidence or getting what evidence they have to prove that the wrong way. Guys, there have been cases where guilty people walk because the investigations were handled horribly. There are cases like that out there. Do your own research. You're a true crime fan, you probably know about this. But that's what's going on there. Either y'all don't know he's guilty and y'all manufactured this suspect and y'all know it's gonna be like the DNA of that. You're talking about some DNA. The DNA of y'all manufacturing this suspect and fumbling this investigation and breaking laws and cheating the codes to get whatever y'all say y'all got. The DNA of that is gonna be very apparent. Is it that y'all manufactured the suspect and that's gonna be apparent? Or is it that y'all know he's guilty, but y'all still manufactured the evidence and y'all broke the rules and the laws to get it, so you know it's going to be fruit of the poisonous tree? Y'all don't, I've said this before. I don't know if Bryan is guilty or innocent, but y'all don't have what y'all are portraying to the public y'all have on this man. What you have on, the best case scenario of his guilt that you have on this man is shaky at best. That's why Ann has been fighting to get it for now. I'm just going to reach out there in the water. I know we're nowhere near it, but we're closer to it. The way they're behaving, we're closer to it than further from it. Now we damn near coming up on like a year and a half with this case. And she's still trying to get this simple evidence that every time y'all come to court, y'all got another polite, amicable excuse about why y'all ain't got it yet and you're still working on it. Well, damn it. And any job in America, man, that probably didn't have anything to do with the government, working on it a year and a half later, bro, your ass would have been out the door. Right? Can I get a hallelujah, man? Have you ever been on a job where your boss allowed you to work? The judge in this case is the man. Have you ever been on a job where your boss allowed you to tell them you were working on something for a year and a half? How long ago would you have been fired? I am 15 minutes into this damn hearing, guys. This right here is 15 minutes itself right now. Just the audio. My voice. Now, I'm probably going to add some clips and just go ahead and put this out. I think Ann is obviously fighting still. I don't think she's giving up on Bryan. I think her and her team are still fighting for his innocence. But to me, I'm no litigation expert or professional at all. Me and Coffee After Dark are twins. We don't know feces in this field, in this arena. But with my inexperienced eyes, when I look, when I see this woman in court, and I'm just saying it again because as I mentioned earlier, this is my first time seeing this, they're holding not only the judge, but the court and the state at gunpoint. And she's saying, without saying it, she's doing her job, but there's just multiple messages she's communicating. She's giving a master class, either that or I'm high on oxygen. And what she's saying to them in one of her messages is,
either they're going to do the right thing or she going to make a highlight reel out of them doing everything they can to avoid justice every chance she get.
And that's our notice of appeal. Because the things that once again, the year and a half for the IGG evidence, we're over here arguing a legal, even though it's a flimsy one, I have to admit, I think in this case, I think Ann's argument, her defense team argument about, the standard for how the grand jury is instructed, I think it's a flimsy argument, but it is a legal one, and that's why they have the option to appeal to a higher court. And then the state is still over here shucking and jiving, trying to appeal to the judge's ego with the, hey man, they trying to take your authority, and appeal to the public's compassion by reminding us that they have a right to a timely trial, under the Idaho Constitution, which is fair. I don't want to do what they do. I don't want to breeze past that like the state does when they're in the wrong. But then you get into semantics. Who determines, timely? And I'm just going to refer back to the defense lawyer's quote, especially when y'all trying to kill somebody, man. What are you talking about? And once again, I'll quote him again. Even if Bryan is convicted this year, which in my previous video I said I don't think we'll get a trial, if I remember correctly, until 2025. I still stand on that, but we'll see. I don't know any more than anybody else. But like you said, even if Bryan is convicted this year, I'm 28. I'm pretty sure he just threw a number out there to be, exaggerate a very valid point. The appeal will go on, man. You're not going to rush this trial away. What you're trying to do is rush this conviction, and you're trying to rush it through this court and your state attorney's office. You know what I mean? I think you're trying to wipe the board clean and hope this just goes away. Because if you get him in this court, I don't know what the chances are of appeal, but it probably, I don't know. But you're definitely trying to wipe. It seems like you're trying to rush this trial, rush this conviction, and then rush this trial out of the court and out of your hands. And that, when I say your and you, I'm talking about the judge, I'm talking about the state, and yes, I'm talking about possibly the university, and I'm talking about the law enforcement officers, local, state, and federal, who are involved in this case. And it's an until. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I'm just going to watch how much ever I can watch again until I feel like talking about this again. And then we're going to go from there, man. But if you watch this hearing, what are your thoughts on how Ann's, I don't remember his name, it was a gentleman, how he performed and how he presented his argument? I did at first think his fire was a little dim. But like I said, by the end, when he hit him with the, hey, y'all, why y'all we're not trying to hold the trial off, but why y'all trying to rush it when you're trying to kill somebody? I think he was all the way, 0 to 100 real quick. But if you watched it again, how do you think he presented his argument? And I'm asking you to be unbiased here, impartial. And versus how do you think, the state's gentleman, I don't remember his name, he presented his argument. I've given you my, opinion. I think the state once again was full of feces like they usually are in the courtroom. I think I've seen Ann's team and I'm like, what was that? The performance. I can't remember which one it was, but for me, this wasn't one of them. I think this was a master class in presentation and in subtlety. Did I pronounce that word right? I'm gonna see what the judge says. I think the defense's multiple messages went over the state's head. I think from what I see. But I'm gonna see what the judge says to see if Ann's subliminal messages went over his head too. But I would like to hear your thoughts. I'm out of here, guys. Then again, I did say, yeah, we got to talk about this, man. Coupled with you appealing to the judge's ego, you appeal to the public and the judge by putting pressure, saying, hey, the living relatives, the loved ones, they have a right to a timely trial. Yes, they do. Yes, they will. Listen, man, nobody's saying this case should drag on forever. But we also aren't saying y'all should force this defendant and his defense team to go to trial handicapped, and that's why I turned this damn camera on again. Judge, you got the audacity to sit on that damn stand and say, now let's get to a concern, something that we should be concerned about after you denied the defendant's motions, which once again, I'm not mad at it because I myself admit it wasn't a solid argument. But I don't get the sense that that's why you denied it. I get the sense that that's what you rode on the coattails of. I really do think he appealed to your ego successfully. I do think that. I just could kind of hear it in your voice, and I may be reading too much into it, but I don't know. I read people, that's what I do. You did kind of assert that, nah, we ain't changing nothing, it's gonna stay. That's not what you said. I tweeted something on Twitter, I said, so much is being said behind the words that are being said, that the words themselves aren't saying, but the words themselves are saying. And that was one thing. There was a firmness there that seemed to come from your ego. But other than that, you laid it on, you by your discretion and in your opinion, et cetera, et cetera. And once again, I'm not mad at that. I think an impartial judge may have even ruled that way because once again, in my opinion, I'm no legal professional or anything. I just listen and logic and reason. I don't think that Ann's team, her argument was strong enough to be a slam dunk. It could have gone either way. If he would have granted the motion, I wouldn't have been upset. It was a long shot though. But you want to get to trial though. And at least in your words, let's talk about scheduling. I get it. This could turn into a couple of hearings conversation too, which means it could go anywhere from a month to 6 months. I don't know, ask professionals. But it can linger for a while. That doesn't mean it's happening today. You made that clear. At least let's get to trial, get in a trial date, or at least talk about scheduling. This is important to you. I'm going to refer back to what defense counsel told the entire world who watched that hearing. Y'all trying to kill a man. Let's fast forward a little bit. Bill gets up. Once again, I'm pretty sure that was Bill who got up when it was time to talk about the trial date, or at least scheduling, and the judge turned it over to the state first. Whoever that was, if it wasn't Bill, got up and said, "Hey, before we get into that, let me say this." He accused the state of trying to kill a man. Yes, he did, and I was so damn proud of him when he did it. I ain't said as many curse words as I want to say. But back to what Bill was saying. The state law says that in cases like this, where the criteria are met, the jury has a right to decide not only guilt or innocence, but also punishments, up and including the death penalty. That's what he said the law says. So basically what he's saying is it won't be us that's doing it. It will be on the jury. They get to decide. Which is kind of a fair argument, sir, but we're not releasing you all responsibility and accountability here, sir. That would not be the decision that was pushed to the jury if you didn't put it on the damn table. And since you put it on the damn table, you are trying to kill a man. So why the hell are you trying to rush his defense team to trial unprepared and handicapped to defend him? This pisses me off. This ain't got nothing to, I don't know. Is this if it does have anything to do with litigation in America, it's another reason we should be terrified of our own country. How in the hell can you accuse someone of something, not tell them what led you to accuse them and how you got to the point of accusing them, then indict them behind closed doors, and then say we ain't gonna give you all the evidence that you're entitled to defend yourself? We're not gonna tell you what led us to accuse you and what made you accuse. You just gotta take our word for it. Man, you done lost your damn mind. Whether that is the way the justice system is in our country, and I'm not that naive that I don't recognize in some ways it obviously is and has been for a while, but that's not the standard that we're looking for. Ain't nobody going to court on a daily and a regular basis getting convicted of crimes that it's clear they didn't or may have not committed, right? It's clear they did not or may have not committed. That's not happening regularly, right? Not before our eyes, broadcast on platforms that we can see, we all tune into for information. No, right? Or is it? Because I'm watching this and I'm like, damn, this is literally before our eyes. The man in this hearing told the judge and the court and their all onlookers, hey, we know they still don't have the IGG evidence and we're supposed to be getting it to them and we're working on it. Man, listen, that's why I turned the camera back on. The culmination of the judge making, he prioritized, let's start talking about a trial date. And I'm not mad at that. I'm mad at the priority you giving it, while you giving a very low priority to them getting the defense what the hell they need to defend their client. Justice is all of it. A timely trial, a timely unsecuring of evidence from both sides. All of that stuff that go into it. The judicial process being timely. Why in the hell does it seem the only thing y'all want to be timely about it? And this is what I put on Twitter. Getting this case out of your hands and out of your jurisdiction. With there being no hint of Bryan being found not guilty, even if he is. That is the goal here. Now, why? Is it simply because you don't want that type of attention on yourself? Because we already got a man that the world thinks, point your finger and say that's him and that's him? And anybody that goes against is on the enemy's. Is that what you got going on here? Some kind of political aspirations like Bryan cannot be found guilty on your watch, on that prosecution's office watch, on that police department's watch? What is it here, man? Because they seem to be asking for something very, very, very simple. And that's the evidence that you use to accuse this man. Because damn it, I don't give no damn how much the Bryan native say he's the guy, he's absent. Y'all have shown us nothing to make logical minds believe that. So why the hell would we? When you're saying you have it and you've been delaying, showing it not only to the defense, but even leaking a hint of it to us so we can believe you. Everything you've done has made us mistrust you more. I guess I'm gonna have to make another video talking about the rest of this hearing, which happened last Friday, where they get more into, how the state and the defense feels about, scheduling or a trial date. I think I said 2 years or something like that. But I'm gonna have to make another video because it just pissed me off. So, we're gonna refer to the video I made that's connected to this one. I thought I would be more chill in this video, but it got me hot. Are they high? And so you're either going to get that video right now or you got it before this and this came last. But either way, man, y'all be safe, innocent until. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in. I'm out.
And so without permission to appeal, we may never get an answer on this. And certainly that's very important to Mr. Kohberger, because whether or not there's a valid indictment in this case is going to decide whether or not he sits here and whether or not a trial should occur, etc. One of the major issues is whether or not that's going to have an issue with the timeliness of this case, and my understanding is that's going to be the next argument that comes after this one. And so we believe if a trial is set out as far as we think it ought to be, that an appeal at this point won't disturb where we think a trial should occur in any case. And in any matter, this isn't our attempt to achieve some delay. This is our attempt to make sure that our client is getting due process at every step in this case, and that nothing is being left, no stone left unturned. Thank you, Judge.
Heavy Metal Rehab. Shout out to you for becoming a member. I'm sorry I'm not good with that kind of stuff. I just saw that. And whoever else I may have missed. Y'all be safe.